or vital to securing the military and our country's energy future. Ryan Houck is the executive director of Free Market America, and Mike Breen is vice president of the Truman National Security and an energy security expert. He also served in the Army. Gentlemen, welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Good to be with you, Shannon.
All right, Ryan, I want to start with you. It sounds like a lot of money, but the Navy makes a point. The Navy Secretary maybe is saying, listen, the military uses a big chunk of the fossil fuels we're using here in the U.S., so we should be on the front lines of this. We should be finding new ways to save the environment, and if we lead and set this example, it'll benefit the rest of the country. Why not?
Well, if biofuels are the future, then they ought to compete in the free market just like every other energy source. The reality here is that if you pull into a gas station and you have the choice between $26 a gallon biofuel and $3.60 a gallon conventional fuel, most Americans, I expect even most politicians, if they're spending their own money, are going to pick the conventional fuel. But the unfortunate part of this is that you've got the left trying to make a political point, and they're borrowing the prestige of the U.S. Navy in order to do it. Henry Ford didn't have to shoot the horse in order to sell the car, and if biofuel is a good product, they should sell it on the free market. And until then, we expect that our government will exercise a modicum of common sense and buy the fuel that is most cost effective.
All right, Mike, we've been talking about these numbers. So in one of the examples, we are talking about $26 a gallon versus $3.60 a gallon. One of the ships that's trying this out left port with 900,000 gallons of fuel. So we calculated that as more than $20 million difference in fuel costs. How do you justify that it's worth it?
Well, let's be clear, first of all, that the Navy has one goal, and so does the Marine Corps, and that is to keep America safe, to ensure that we can confront and defeat any threat in any environment that we face. And that our military continues to be the greatest fighting force that the world's ever seen in any combat environment. We all know exactly how tenuous and dangerous our supply of fuel is from the Middle East. We've been fighting wars there for 10 years. I fought in Iraq myself and saw it firsthand. The Navy wants to be able to fight and win and to protect America no matter what our fuel supply situation looks like coming from overseas. And we're investing early in next-generation American-made fuels that can ensure that our men and women in uniform can fight and win no matter what happens in the Middle East. Of course, it's expensive at this point, but it's a test project. We're rolling this new technology out. If we'd said that the Navy couldn't invest in navigational aids more expensive than a compass back in the 1970s, we never would have had GPS. This is about the military leading the way to keep us safe.
All right, Ryan, how do you respond? I mean, is it sometimes the job of the military to be on the cutting edge of technology?
I think that ultimately we're not in the business of asking government to pick winners and losers. The safest and surest way to reduce our dependence on foreign sources of energy is to unleash domestic energy production. The problem is that that's not what the left want. Groups like Michael's are interested in getting rid of coal, oil, and natural gas, which account for about 82% of domestic energy use in the United States. They don't have much of an alternative, and they know that the only way that they can sell it is if they can make cheap fuels seem expensive and expensive fuels seem cheap. And that means government punishes successful industries through over-regulation and then subsidizes failing ones through over-subsidization. That's not what the American people want. We found that out with Solyndra, and all this is an attempt by the left to borrow the prestige of the military for a political stunt.
All right, Mike, I'll give you a chance to respond there. What is the goal? Is it getting rid of coal and all these other options?
No, the Navy hasn't used coal for 100 years. I think Ryan ought to know that. The goal here is to make sure that our men and women on the front lines, the guys, the men and women who are out there every day confronting the Chinese in the Pacific, dealing with Iran in the Straits of Hormuz where they want to close off the world's oil supply, it's our Navy that's got to face down those threats. If our men and women in the uniform say they need this technology, I'm inclined to give it to them. I mean, going on a witch hunt for far-left radical environmentalists in the United States Marine Corps is a losing proposition. That's not what this is about.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we thank you both, Ryan and Mike, for weighing in, and we appreciate your time on this very important debate.